Good afternoon, Devon. Yes, there was very, very little detail given on what kind of tax reforms would be introduced by government to help the tax system. But he did hint about tapping into payroll taxes. He said that payroll taxes can be reviewed as a measure of indirect tax system. He spoke a lot about the indirect tax system and how they would be considering that to see how they can prop up the tax revenue.
Now, he's also spoken to the number of youth jobs created through the incentive scheme. Liabo, how convincing were his remarks on employment there?
Unfortunately, it was also not very clear about just how many jobs have been created, but he did say that there's an excess of around 270,000 jobs that have been created. But he could not be sure, or rather tell us for sure, how many of those were as a result of the scheme itself. He says that they're still having consultation with businesses to try and tally up the numbers to see just how much the scheme has yielded in youth jobs. Remember that the scheme came into effect last year in 2014 on the 1st of January. But so far there's been very little detail from government on its progress.
Then, Liabo, the S&P, another ratings released this afternoon. Both these issues, jobs, taxes, government's fiscal condition, are on top of the minds of these officials at the ratings agencies. What's the take as far as that is concerned? I mean, surely there's some stance now ahead of that ratings announcement.
Absolutely. I spoke to the senior economist at the Bureau for Economic Research, which is the research company that was hosting this conference, on his what he thought Standard & Poor's would do. And he says Standard & Poor's is unlikely to downgrade South Africa. You'll remember that in March, when they reviewed the country, they had indicated that for the next 2 years, they are unlikely to reduce or the credit rating, to downgrade the credit rating of the country. Last week already we saw that Fitch affirmed a sovereign credit rating at BBB, and that also maintained a negative outlook. It will be quite a surprise if they do move either way, because it seems like economists and analysts are taking their word that for the next 2 years S&P is unlikely to downgrade South Africa, but it will keep a close look on South Africa's performance given the economic growth, the slow economic growth, the unemployment, particularly the electricity crisis that we're currently facing as well.
All right, we'll leave it there. Liabo Setho, live from Johannesburg. Thanks indeed for your time.